if you are out of Zimbabwe. It's a question that was raised to me when I appeared before the Parliamentary Portfolio Committee with a petition to ask them to reform the constitution by including the diaspora vote. The question will be, which polling station do people that do postal voting who are outside the Zimbabwe vote from? Which polling station do members of staff of the state who are employed out of Zimbabwe, which polling station do they vote at? You create a voting place if you want. You know, like in our country, we have political parties that have got branches in America, branches in South Africa, branches in Zambia, and things like that. What I'm saying is the people out there can still be as interested in Zimbabwean politics as the Zimbabweans who are in Zimbabwe itself. So a diaspora can be a constituency. You can say a UK constituency, South Africa constituency, and the like. And then you've got a particular.
That would then mean
place.
They have to have an MP who represents that constituency. So are we then going to have a diaspora, an MP for Zim diaspora?
Let me say, because this is going into the question about the efficacy or applicability or practicability. I don't want to go into the practicabilities of it, but let's argue and say, if somebody says is already registered in Zimbabwe, for example, and is a registered voter, it's on the voters' roll, was obviously the rigmarole of checking who is on the voters' roll and who is not, and the registration on the voters' roll remains the same thing. So you see whether they are registered or not, and then they can vote in terms of the constituency from which they come, and then you remove the residency requirement to say you must be resident in a certain area by a certain period, as long as you are registered in that area. But let's say you are voting for the president. The president's constituency is Zimbabwe. You get what I'm saying? It's not Mzaraban, it's not Mutsi West, it's not Chimanimani East, where Nedziwa is, or something like that. But it is the whole country. So it's one constituency. So if you say don't vote for an MP, well, we may agree with you. But you can't say don't vote for the president because it's one constituency. It can be done if the will is there. Zimbabwe is one of the countries that has not embraced it, but I believe Mozambique and other countries that surround us have embraced diaspora vote. As a principle, if it is embraced, you can then work around how it can be effectuated, how it can be...
And the practicability.
The practicability of it, yes.
And coming to, I think, that question that you had posed, the postal voters, their ballots are sent to their polling station that they're registered at.
That's right.
So if even if they're in America, if they're registered, I'll keep using Nedziwa or Chaka as my Chaka primary school.
Or Chayamiti.
Or Chayamiti
primary
school.
Go down to money.
Oh yes, yeah. You know. So that person, whether they're on duty in Slovenia, their postal vote will be sent to the polling station that they're registered.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. In fact, there's been an argument to say, isn't this discriminatory? Because Section 56 of our Constitution says every Zimbabwean, regardless of origin, place of origin, and abode and gender and the like, is equal before the law and it must be treated the same. What's the difference between somebody who works for the state and somebody who doesn't work for the state but they're in the same location? What divides them from that ability to exercise their right to vote? That is a question.
A big
of
one.
a constitutional nature.
A big one. And we are looking forward to You are locked onto the exchange as we discuss the law and the relationship with elections, some of the contestations, why it happens. We were talking there about the diaspora vote and how interesting there's so many moving parts. Please study law. You can hear why it's the profession to be in.
That's right.
It connects to absolutely everything.
That's right.
0719-100-404. Please do talk to us. This is the election conversation as we understand that relationship that exists and some of the processes that go before, during, and after elections. We are speaking to Trust Maanda, an election and legal expert in the studio. 0719-100-404. You can also call us. I'll open up my lines in a few minutes if you would like to have your say, but send us your messages or voice notes on the WhatsApp platform. Now, I'm seeing a couple of messages already here. This one is almost like rehashing what you had just said about that, non-discrimination and perhaps that bigger question. Patrick says, why does postal voting only apply to those who are out of the country on duty and not other citizens, yet we are all Zimbabweans? I don't know if you want to give that a stab, or I suppose it's like saying those in the army and the uniformed forces and so forth, are they have a special place when it comes to these elections.
Yeah, so I think it is simply emphasizes the point that there's no need to differentiate between citizens on the basis of their nature of employment. But you can understand, maybe say you are in ZEC and you have to be deployed to Msarabani. They also have what they call sometimes early voting, where you vote before you go, or where in order for you to be at your duty, at your post of duty, but having exercised your right also to vote. So all I'm saying is that there are mechanisms that can be put in place to allow for voting by anyone who wants to vote, regardless of where they are, as long as they are Zimbabweans. Like people in hospitals, people in jail.
In prison, I was going to say.
They don't lose their humanity or their citizenship or their right to exercise their rights by virtue of being in prison. What they simply lose is freedom, the liberty, the right to liberty. But all the other rights, they must exercise them, and there must be in place mechanisms for them not to be put into the periphery of citizenry in Zimbabwe.
Perhaps because they're not resident in their polling station or in their ward.
Postal vote.
They can postal vote. Interesting.
Or you can even move your registration to a certain to a particular. You can transfer your registration. If I come from Gutu and I now move to Zarabani, there's a mechanism in the act by which you can move your registration.
But I also understand that all of this takes intentionality and people really taking it upon themselves to do these things and understand the processes.
It takes intentionality and voter education as well, and also the will. Even if you raise the issue, there must be the will by those that make decisions to ensure that those issues are addressed.
103 comes in and says, hi Rumbi, my understanding is that all postal votes are required to state ward and constituency, and hence they should then vote a stated period prior to the election, and then they are sent to relevant wards. So there is actually a cutoff period, you are correct, to ensure that these votes are then opened at the same time that the cast ballots are counted.
That's right.
Then this one says, mutemo postal vote haushandi rekana munhu akaita more than 18 months ari panze penyika sezvakaitwa vamwe vakarambirwa kumira president avo. I don't know if you want to answer this one or the court has determined this issue.
If you are working for the government and you qualify for postal vote, you can, but this has nothing to do with qualification for nomination. I'm talking here about if you work for government, you have got a right to vote from wherever you are. But it is separate. Voting and nomination are not the same.
Thank you so much. And Noshura Kutimazunzi, this is 354-275 here says, hi Rumbi, can you please ask Mr. Maanda for me, is the postal vote secret or you vote under someone's eye?
It is secret.
It is secret. There you go. All voting is done in secret. The secrecy of the ballot, I think, is one of those sacrosanct things as well.
It's one of the principles of a free and fair election, the secrecy of the ballot.
One last thing around that, assisted voters. What is the criteria for one to qualify, and what safeguards are there to ensure that the secrecy of the ballot is upheld when there's assisted voting? Yes,
if you are assisted, either because you are illiterate or you've got some other inhibiting factor like it's a disability or inability, whatever, it's a disability. You come with your confidante, you come with your friend or your relative. That person must be above the age of course of 18 to vote for you, and that person must be verified whether indeed it's your choice that they represent you. So in the voting, you will still be under observation, just like any other person who votes personally. You'll be under observation by observers, by the officers, and by election agents. Observation in the sense that they'll be seeing that you are going into the booth, not following you there to see how you voted, but you come with your choice of a person to help you. But if you cannot come with a person to help you, officers of ZEC can help you, but they will do that under observers as well to see that they are putting your mark where you have chosen. So it will still be under observation. And the documents of that particular police station, like I put V11s, broadly speaking, will also show, not the V11, but the documents that they will have will show how many were assisted and whatever reason they were assisted for, so that there will be an audit as to why this place would have so many people who can't write or who cannot read or who don't see and things like that. Yeah, so you are assisted, but still under observation by everybody who will be in there in the booth.
Thank you so much for clarifying that. And now the time is 10 minutes to 8, and exactly 8 o'clock we will be bringing this conversation to a close. If you have any questions around some of the election processes, court processes, and the relationship, please do take this opportunity. Mr. Trust Maanda is in the studio and here to answer and clarify any issues. This one says, good evening, Rumbi. What is the difference between contestation and petition? And then it says, what are the time frames for postal votes?
You know what, that's a big question. I will answer them. Yeah, contestation and petition.
Yeah.
Well, contestation is not a legal term. It's to contest something, but petition is a legal term. So in the petition, that's where you will be contesting an outcome. So contestations is a broad term where you are contesting an outcome within a petition, or even issues that they can be issues for contestation within the petition. So to contestation, petition. So a petition now is an application that a loser or anybody who is aggrieved, a candidate who participates in the election, who is aggrieved by the outcome or the process, can take the winner to court to have that outcome reversed. You know, so that's a petition. But within the petition, that's where you raise your contestations. I'm sorry that my mind, I've just forgotten now, because it's some time before I read on the postal vote the period. You get what I'm saying? I can't tell, but it has to be before the elections. I can't tell. I'll read again the electoral act.
No, maybe I can come in and assist you.
You are my learned friend. This is where you need to prove that you are indeed my learned friend.
Indeed. Well, looking at this current election, all those who are casting postal votes have to have done so by the 19th of August. And these must then be delivered to the polling stations, such that on a voting day, the 23rd, they are actually then put together. This is to allow, so they get the forms well ahead of time. When the date is announced, they're then asked, do you want to do postal votes? Ballots are sent to them. They are accounted for by polling agents and by ZEC agents, I beg your pardon, and then they're given that time frame within which to send them back. And they're sent back by, if it's police officers, by the head of the unit or wherever they are. If it's people in Home Affairs or the ministry, it is then done through those channels to ensure that these postal votes get to the right places. So I'll stop there.
You have come to my rescue.
I have indeed.
And you have jogged my memory.
Indeed.
You are correct.
Now, Mdala Chakwas also comes in and says, good evening. Please, can you let us know what will political party agents, what role do political party agents play when it comes to polling day?
Okay, I would say they represent the candidate. So they're the agent of the candidate. In other words, they observe and raise concerns if there are any issues that have arisen to say, but this issue needs to be addressed. This issue needs to be addressed at a polling station. So they are the agents. They represent the candidate who is a contestant in that election to monitor how things are done and on the ground. And then they will be also signing the V11s, which will show the number of people that voted and who got how many votes and the total vote cast in that thing before it is pasted on the polling station booth or the tent, whatever.
Very important there. Now we fast run out of time. We've only got 6 minutes until we have to wrap it up. Now there's okay. This one says, why is taking a picture of my ballot illegal? I think this is somebody who's saying after they've cast their ballot, they take a picture. Why they're asking why that is illegal.
It is illegal because there must be secrecy of the vote. So if you tell somebody how you voted, and then if I come back to you and then say, but how did you vote? Why did you vote? And then there will be repercussions. So it must remain between you, if you like, and God in that booth. You may tell your husband to force at home and say, you know what, I support X, you support B, but we are husband and wife, and still I will cook for you and things. But you, it's for the secrecy of the ballot. So whatever happens in the booth is secret. And then the reopening of the ballot boxes will be done to verify how people voted. But there will be no name, there will be nothing to attribute to a certain person. So there has to be secrecy maintained.
Absolutely. Now, very unfortunately, Mr. Maanda, we've run out of time. I really was enjoying this conversation as our listeners. Okay, Anzi Panaba, maybe let me read this one last. This is somebody who's visually impaired. Anzi Manirakanaka tomboti handidi kuti vanhu vaone patiri kuvhotera ndiri assisted voter. Inini handioni, ndinongoenda nemunhu wangu tiri 2 ndizvo here?
Ndizvozvo.
Aiwa.
Ngoenda muri 2 nemunhu wako. Aunodai wewe, unochoose. Yes.
All right, thank you so much for that. This is coming from Jethro. Jethro, I hope kuti zvajeka. Now, Vamanda, whilst we are coming to the end of the program, what message would you have for citizens, for voters ahead of the 23rd of August on this, very momentous day, and how to conduct themselves and behave on election day?
Yes, I would say that voting is a human right. It's a right that is constitutionally entrenched. And it's also a duty by every citizen to go and choose representatives that must represent them, because we are a constitutional representative democracy. So everybody has a right to govern himself through representatives. So I would urge people to exercise that right and to exercise it in a peaceful way and orderly way as well. And I would also urge those that are at the forefront of running the elections to just do it as professionally as they can within the law. And even after the outcome has been declared, let's remain peaceful, because it's like a game where you lose, where you win, but we are one nation, one background, you see. So let's continue to love one another, one love.
I like that, Nancy. One love. Yeah, man. Now, Amanda, please vote in peace. Thank you so much. A great conversation. I really did enjoy that. And Ms. Amanda actually is an author as well, writing quite a lot on elections and legal issues. So looking forward to your next article and our next conversation on the station. So thank you so much, Mr. Trust Maanda, legal practitioner and election expert, giving us tidbits on elections, election petitions, and all of those issues that may come about if there are contestations, and also helping us understand a little bit deeper and better why some of the things in the law when it comes to elections are set out the way that they are. Mr. Maanda, thank you so much, and we look forward to engaging with you once more. Good night.
It was a pleasure being cross-examined by you. I hope I was not shaking under cross-examination. And good night to listeners. Thank you.
Great conversation. I enjoyed it.
Great conversation.
Wonderful.